So the big thing with the Swiss ball is it gives you a surface that's an unstable surface. So if you're not squeezing those ab muscles tight, you're gonna be kind of rolling around everywhere. So even just sitting on a Swiss ball, if you're reading a book, watching TV, at your computer, this is gonna help strengthen those muscles. The first exercise I'm gonna have you do is called a pelvic tilt. Now we talked about the pelvic tilts a little bit for stretching when you were lying down. Now this one's actually going to be some strengthening. The key when you're on the Swiss ball is you want your back to stay nice and straight. You don't want your upper body swinging around. You want those muscles to stay tight to keep you from falling off the ball. So I usually have everybody just kind of have your feet about shoulder width apart, so that gives you some good balance. Now, first time you get on a Swiss ball, you might roll right off. So be very careful. If you're starting for the first time, get a friend to hold on to it for you. If you don't have anybody with you, lean it up against the wall so you have something holding onto it. You can even start off holding onto it yourself, and that'll give you a little more stability. So you can start doing your exercises like this. Once you feel like you've got the balance a little bit, then you can let go, put them in your lap, and that'll be a little bit harder for you. When you get a Swiss ball, you want it to be high enough where your knee angle is about a 90-degree angle. This one might be a little bit low for me, but that's just because it needs a little more air. But really close to 90 is what you want. So the first thing we're going to do those pelvic tilts. So what I want you to do, I don't want you rolling back and forth like this. Remember, we want our upper body to stay nice and straight, and you're just rolling at your pelvis. So it's a little provocative, but this is really getting those lower muscles working, moving, getting them a little stronger. Remember, you want to keep those ab muscles nice and tight while you're doing it. Now, when you're on the Swiss ball, you don't want to go all out because you'll be sore later. So start off with just about 10 in each direction, but you're really trying to go to the back, go to the front. Nice and controlled. The ball's not rolling around. You're not rolling around. Your upper body's staying nice and straight. The next one you're going to do is then a side-to-side tilt. We call this a lateral tilt. Same kind of thing. You want to keep your upper body straight, but you're just tipping your hips up and down. Just back and forth. Good, about 10 times. Then what you can do, we call a hula hoop or some circles. You're just rotating that around. Now remember, you don't want to be doing this. You want that upper body to be straight. You want those hips to be moving. Rolling them around. You can go back the other way. Rolling them around. All right, good. Now that those are nice and loose, you can start adding some combination moves to get those muscles really working. So the first thing I'm going to have you do, remember, you can hold on if you need to, because this is gonna be really hard the first time you do it. What you're going to do is you're going to just take your foot and lift it about that much off the ground. You don't have to lift it high, but you're just going to lift it off the ground, and then you're going to slowly come back down. Now remember, the key is control. So you're not doing this, because then that's not working those muscles. You're going to bring it up, little pause, slowly bring it down, and then alternate feet. At the same time, you're keeping those abs nice and tight. Try not to move the ball around a lot. It's going to move a little bit, but you want to stay stable. You don't want to end up falling off. Good. So you're just going to do that about 10 times the first time you do it. If you're not super sore afterwards, then you can do the repetitions until you're sore, and then do 2 more after that. The next step is, now what you're going to do is you're going to kick your leg out. So you're just going to kick it straight out, come back in. Remember, you're trying to keep everything nice and still, alternating legs back and forth. Kicking out, good. Coming back in. All right. So now if you want to bump it up a little bit, if you're feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident, what you're going to do now is you're going to get your arms involved a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to lifting the leg, but this time I'm going to lift my upper arm up and alternate back and forth. Keeping everything nice and tight, keeping those abs tight. Try not to slide the ball around too much. Not falling off the ball, getting hurt. About 10 times with that. If you're feeling really confident, if you're like, oh, that was really easy, try doing it on the same side. So now you're going to lift both of them on your left side, both of them on your right side. Same thing, remember, you don't want to be wobbling around. If you're wobbling around, that's what's going to get you hurt. That's what's going to make you sore. So keep those abs tight, lifting back and forth. Good. I'm going to show you one more progression. There's a lot of progressions, but I just want you to start out with some simple stuff, see how it feels, then you can check out our progression videos for some harder exercises. The next one, if you felt like those were pretty simple, what you can do then, you can lie down on the back, on your back, and now lift your legs. Now see the ball's moving a lot more, so you really need to hold those abs tight, nice and slow. If you feel like you're having to bring your leg down too quickly, then you're not quite ready for the exercise yet. So just going up, going up. Good. And then rolling back. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll forward a little bit to where your bottom's on the edge of the ball. You can either go back to protect your neck a little bit, or some people cross their chest. It's your choice, whatever's most comfortable for you. I usually go back behind my neck just to give my neck a little bit of support. And so you're just going to do a simple crunch. You're going to roll back and you're going to get as flat as you can, and then you're going to roll back up. Now remember, when you're doing this, you don't want to hold your breath. You want to be able to talk to somebody, or you want to be able to be a continuous, comfortable breathing the whole time. Now it's going to be hard. You're going to feel it working, so you only have to start off with about 5 or 10 and then work your way up from that. Now see, the ball moved a little bit. You want to keep that ball as still as possible. All right, so after you get that one accomplished, the next one you're going to do, if you start up this way, you're going to roll down to about where your shoulders are on the ball. You want to get yourself into what we call a tabletop position, where you're flat, where you can draw a straight line front to back. And then you're just going to drop your hips down, and then you're coming back up. Now this is not only working your back, but it's working your hamstrings a little bit. So you can add this into your hamstring exercises in the hamstring strengthening video. So nice and controlled. You want to control it. You don't want to be bouncing around. You don't want to be going fast. And you want the ball to be staying as straight as it can. If it's wobbling around like this, then you're probably not quite ready for it. Okay, so just dropping down. You can drop down lower once you get more comfortable, but you just want to come straight. You don't want to arch your back up, because that's going to cause some pain, might cause some injuries. You want to just come nice and flat. Okay, now the next one, you're actually going to come off the ball, and you can put the ball in front of you, and it's almost like you're saying your prayers on your bed, except you want to get your back straight again. You don't want your bottom sticking out, but you want to get as straight as you possibly can. You just kind of sit here. You want to keep those abs nice and tight so you're not dropping forward, and again, your butt's not sticking out, but you're getting in a straight angle, keeping that back as straight as possible and not moving the ball around. If you can do this for about a minute, then the next step up is to bring your knees off the ground and go up on your toes into a plank position. So you're just going to go up. Same thing, you want your back as straight as possible. You don't want to arch your bottom up, and you don't want to sag, but you want to be as straight as you can. And see how my hands are shaking? You should be shaking. That means you're working. Okay? So same thing, you just want to start off with 5-10 seconds. If you need to do that a couple times, you can do that about 5 times and work your way up. All right, the next one is, we call it a walkout or a rollout. And so you're going to bring the ball close to you. You're going to start on your knees, and you're going to come across the ball and place your hands down on the ground. And just like it sounds, you're going to start walking out. So you're going to bring your arms, walk forward. You want to keep the ball going as straight as possible and try not to have it wiggling around. And you want to go, if you can, all the way to your toes. I can't quite right here, but once you get as far as you can, then you're going to start walking back. The further out you go, the harder it gets. So if I want to go a little bit further, I can start a little further back. See if I can get a little further. And you're just going to walk yourself out. Because once you start getting to your feet, see how the ball's rolling? You want to try and keep it steady. You want to walk all the way out, and then come all the way back. Woo! All right, so there you have it. Doing a bridge, we're going to lie down flat on our backs, and we're going to put our legs up on the ball. Now, the key with this is you want your back to be flat on the ground, and you want your neck to be relaxed. You don't want to be holding your head up, because then your neck muscles are going to get strained, and then you're going to end up having some neck pain. So relax your head down, get your back flat on the floor, and what you're going to do is you're going to bridge up, which is just lifting your hips up off the floor, and you want to be straight. You don't want to go super past and put your back into hyperextension, but you want to see a nice straight line going all the way down. Now see how the ball's moving? You want to keep it nice and still. You're going to do a little pause, 3 to 5 seconds, and then come back down. So, you know, just 10 or 15 of those to get you started, and then work your way up from there. If that starts getting easy, then you can go to 1 foot. Lift one up, keep one on the ball, and do the same thing. The bridging, try and just get straight. Don't go into hyperextension on your back. Little pause, coming up, going back down. All right. Then the next one is rolling the ball towards you when you're in a bridge. So you're going to go up into a bridge, and you're going to roll the ball up towards you, and then you're going to push it right back out. Now you want to keep the ball in a straight line if you can, and you want to keep those muscles nice and contract. Remember, you want to be breathing while you're doing it. You want to be able to have a conversation while you're doing it. So you're going to go up into a bridge, pull it in, push it back out. Now this is another one that's working your hamstring, so you can add this into your hamstring strengthening exercises with the other video of the strengthening exercises for your hamstring. Now again, if that gets easy, you can go to one leg, pull it in, come back out. Now that's going to be pretty hard, so just try a couple and then build up as you go. Alright, so the last one we're going to do is probably the toughest one. You want to put your arms across the ball on the ground. We're going to roll out again, and you want to get as far as you can to where your toes are on the ball. That's going to make it the hardest for you. So you're in a plank position. Again, you want to be flat like a tabletop. You don't want to be dropped down. You don't want to be arched up. You want to be very nice and flat. And now what you're going to do is a push up to your elbows. So you're going to go down on your elbow, go down on your elbow, come back up, and then the same thing. Then you go down, opposite arm, opposite up. Now see, I'm at my knees right now, so it's a little bit easier, but if I went all the way out to my toes, the ball would be wiggling around much more and it would be more difficult. So whatever you feel like your level is, you can even start out closer to your stomach. Go down on your elbow, come back up. Get on all fours over the Swiss ball, our therapy ball, and starting off, you probably want your knees on the ground, but as you get a little bit stronger, you probably want to lift your knees up off the ground just a little bit so you're on your toes, just to work your core while you're working everything. So starting off with the eyes, you're going to have your thumbs up straight out in front of you, and you're just going to go up and down, trying to balance on the ball while you're doing this. Just, you can start off with 10 times and then work your way up from there. Then you're going to go into a Y position, and same thing, going up and down. It doesn't have to be a huge movement. You really just want to squeeze those shoulder blades together when you're coming up. Then coming out into a T, going up and down. Most likely you're not going to need weights to start off with, and even once you get going, 1 to 2 pounds is probably all you're going to need. And then finally the W's. Squeezing back there, really squeezing those shoulder blades back.
Very simple, a front raise. Now look, all I'm doing is just rotating my hands as we go to the front. Can you see that? I'm just rotating my hands. A lot of people then raise to the side. See how I'm doing that? Just like that. Raise to the side. I want you to do about 10 of those, the same thing.